Christmas on my mission was fun. I was in my second area in Obregon. I only had one Christmas because that's how it went for me. And we lived next door to a member. She was super nice, and so was her husband. I remember they had a giant Christmas tree. They were one of the wealthier families that I met on my mission. Their house was nicer than my house, super nice. And she decorated her Christmas tree with all these big ornaments about yay big, and it was huge. And she had all these, she had like a big nativity and lots of things. I really felt like I was home in that aspect. And we were able to eat a nice Christmas dinner with another sister because everyone there was so eager to give Christmas dinner to the missionaries. You'll have about 20 million offers because they all want to help you out in that time. And they gave us lots of cute little gifts. They remembered our existence. It was, lots of people went to church that day. It really is a nice experience. I don't know if there's any traditions that are way different than here. I can't think of them right now. They have the Christmas trees, they have the decorations, the lights, the food. I mean, the food's Mexican food, and it's actually really, really good. I love the Mexican Christmas food. They make sweets, cookies, everything. I just felt like I was at home, honestly. I feel like it might have been influenced a little bit by the United States because it was very similar to how we celebrate Christmas. There is a lot of poverty, though. I remember I was with my only companion in my entire mission that was also American, and we were teaching a family that had, I don't know how many kids there were, but there were lots of little kids. And this family was really poor, and it was a partial member family. Some of them were members, some of them weren't. And we had been visiting them. They were progressing, they were learning, they were very interested in becoming closer to God. And all the little girls and boys were so cute. But we found out that they pretty much were kind of not going to have Christmas, and I don't even think they were planning on having a special dinner or anything just because they didn't have very much money. That is a sad part to see during Christmas when it doesn't work out for some people. But we had it in us to think of how to help them. So we went over to, I think we went to Walmart because, like I said, they have Walmart there. We were able to buy some toys, some things for them, some candy, and we filled a box full of things for the little kids. And it was so cute to see them be so excited, realizing that this was for them, that this was a Christmas present when they weren't expecting to have any Christmas. And they ripped it apart and had so much fun, and it was so thrilling to see how the humanitarian work that you can do on your mission really has such a huge effect on the people. I'd really invite you, especially going to this mission, to search for things you can do to serve. You can't always give of what you have or whatever because you can't just hand them over money, but there are ways to serve that really make a huge impact on these people's lives because there are people who are wealthy in this mission. You will see giant houses and people who are totally well off and people who are probably richer than you are, but you will also see very strong poverty. And I would say help everybody. Don't not help someone just because they're rich. Don't not talk to someone just because they're rich. That does happen sometimes because people think that they're not going to accept, which is not true. I was also able to help lots of people who had money on my mission just by talking to them and being open to them. But also look for the people who are suffering and do everything you can to help because those people are truly grateful for any humanitarian effort that is given. So I would invite you to do that.
We sang, I heard the bells on Christmas Day. But first we told the story about it. It's one of my favorite stories about this man and everything that he went through and that so this is what we did. We would go to a house. We went to a house of members and then we went to a house of our investigators too. But we'd sit down and we'd say the story and we'd have everyone close their eyes. We'd say we're going to give them a surprise. And then we'd sing. And we would sit down and we'd say, okay, well, this is what happened. He had lost his wife and his son was in the hospital. It was during the Civil War and his son was in the hospital and he says the words, that the evil is there and that it will prevail. And then he says, the words, then pealed the bells more loud and deep, God is not dead, nor doth he sleep. Those are the words he heard. The wrong shall fail, the right prevail. That's what it says in the song. With peace on earth, goodwill to men. And he wrote this song thinking of his son as he was going to get him from the hospital, and the war hospital. And it was Christmas time, and he was thinking, how could this happen on Christmas? And then he realized that the Lord loved him. He felt that love for him. And we sang it in Spanish and in English. We sang a couple of verses. We sang all 4 verses, I think, and we sang them in Spanish and English. And I had just gotten to my mission. I had been in the mission for about a month, almost 2 months at that time. And we were singing. I remember we got to one house of one member, and their daughter was on a mission, actually. And we were singing, and we told them to close their eyes, and I think it was the first one that we went to, and it was and there in Mexico, they celebrate more the 24th than they do the 25th. And then they celebrate even more el Día de los Reyes Magos, el Día de los Magos, creo. But it's the Wise Men's Day, and it's in January, and so they celebrate that day even more, where they like whatever. But we sat down and we did this with them, and we were singing. And I remember I looked at my companion, and there's just tears like rolling down her face, and I was looking around the room as I was singing. I was super nervous. It was the first house that we went to, and I looked at the brother there, the dad there, and his eyes were closed, and he was just crying. And we just testified to them after we ended that the Lord lives, that he lives, that he was born, that the Savior was born, and that he died, and that he rose again. And I remember the feeling that I felt when I left. And I looked at my companion, and I was like, that was awesome. This is all we're doing today. I don't want to do anything else. This is it. This is what I want to do today. That was the best feeling I had ever had. I was actually lucky enough to have 2 Christmases on my mission, and I remember both of them, but the first one was my favorite. It was amazing. I absolutely loved it. I'm so grateful for her if she sees this, Hermana Peinado, who taught me those things and the importance of those things. And I'm so grateful for that day, for that Christmas day that completely changed me. Completely.